What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Northern Howl, and guess what? We will actually dive into our Ahri deck. And if you've been watching our last three games, you already know that we are 1 and 2 with this deck. And keep in mind, I'm still learning this game, so the last 3 games, I've been making a handful of mistakes, which actually cost us 2 of those games. But the more that I'm playing it, I'm finally understanding what I need to do to be able to increase my chances of winning. So with that said, guys, let's go ahead. Let's dive into this deck and see if I could teach you or teach myself again just by talking over this deck. So let's go ahead. Let's dive in. Let's go. We have Ahri, the Nine-Tailed Fox. This is our heart of the deck, as with any legend, right? This legend gives us the ability to -1 might when units are attacking our battlefield. This allows us to defend that battlefield a little bit more easy, because when it comes to us winning the game, we're trying to score extra points with our green Ahri. So this allows us to be able to defend that battlefield just a little bit easier. And talking about our green Ahri, right, we got Ahri Alluring, right? She's all about scoring that extra point when we hold that battlefield. And the great thing is, we can try to combo Ahri with our time warp here towards the end of the game to be able to just take that extra turn to win the game on that spot right there. Now that we know our legend and champion, let's dive into our 19 units for this deck. Our number 1 card that we'll speak about is Sona. We will be rocking 2 cards of Sona because she allows us to be able to play and react to our opponent's turn, because we get to ready 4 ruins at the end of our turn. So that allows us to protect Ahri, allows us to protect Sona, and just being able to debuff or buff up our units. Okay, now our next card, okay, we have 2 Clockwork Keepers. This is a great low cost unit, usually for trying to get this out on turn 1, turn 2, right, to be able to just get that extra card draw. Okay, we move into our Stalwart Poro here. He has shield, so basically a +1 might when we're defending. It's another great low cost unit to be able to just get onto the board right away to secure some points in the early game. We have Ravenbloom Student, which we are running 3 copies of him. He is another great low cost unit that allows us to be able to buff him up as we play spells, so he can become a high might pretty easily to take out some of those attacking units that are attacking our battlefield. Now we are moving into Lecturing Yordle. He's low cost unit. Once again, we are running 2 copies for him. He is tank, so we want to try to put this card down with Sona or even our Ahri, because all that damage has to be focused on him first. Then he allows us to draw 1 card as well. Now that we know our low cost units, let's go ahead dive into our heavy hitters of our units. So number 1 is Sprite Mother. Sprite Mother can be used in a couple ways. We can use her offensively or defensively. So if we want to use her in an offensively way, we just play her into our base. We get a ready sprite, which is a 3 might, and we just move that sprite onto a battlefield to conquer that battlefield, secure that point. Or we could play her as a defensive unit where we just add her to a battlefield, we get that sprite, and that basically gives us 6 might right there on the board to be able to just buff up that board with the other units on that battlefield, or just use her and that sprite to have 6 might. Now let's move into our true heavy hitter MVPs of this deck. Number 1 is Tasty Faefolk, right? He is a big unit that we can accelerate to be able to try to conquer a battlefield that our opponent just got, or we're just being able to just obviously buff up that battlefield with a nice high might unit. He also has a pretty nasty death knell. Okay, channel 2 ruins exhausted and draw 1 card. So your opponent is not really trying to kill this guy, because he does not want to give us the channel 2 ruins and doesn't want to give that extra card to us. For the MVP, right, we have Thousand-Tailed Watcher here. Again, he's another high might unit that has accelerate, and it's a nice board wipe as well. So if we play Tasty Faefolk in our base, then the next turn we can throw down Thousand-Tailed Watcher and we have a pretty good chance of being able to conquer one battlefield or conquer both battlefields depending on what kind of units we have in our base. So overall, it's a great card to be able to kind of board wipe or just conquer the battlefield as needed. Now that we know our units of the deck, let's go ahead dive into our spells to see what kind of magic we have up our sleeves. Our first card, right, we have 3 copies of Defy. We are just trying to either 1, protect Ahri, or 2, being able to control the game a little bit more so we can keep our units on that battlefield. Card number 2 is En Garde. We took 1 copy away. Usually you can run 3, but in my eyes, we're not defending a battlefield with 1 unit for most of the time, right? So we're not getting the full effect of this card. So we took 1 copy away because we still want some cards with our buffs to be able to protect our units, but we just don't get that full potential of that +2 with this card. Moving on to spell number 3 is Stupefy. We have 3 copies of Stupefy. Now we can either use this on our unit to be able to get a card draw, or we can obviously use it on our opponent's unit to help us defend our battlefield a little bit more easily. Now we can also combo this with our battlefield Dreaming Tree because we get to use it on our unit. We get a draw for the battlefield and get the draw for Stupefy, so we can draw 2 cards with that combo, which is nice. Spell number 4 is a huge card for us. We are running 3 copies of Retreat. Okay, it's a reaction, and when we play this card, return a friendly unit to its owner's hand. Its owner channels 1 Rune exhaust. So we be able to kind of ramp up a little bit. We protect a unit that is being endangered. So it's an overall great card. Moving on to spell number 5 is Discipline. Okay, another heavy hitter for us right here. It allows us to buff up our units to be able to protect that battlefield or take out a unit, and it gives us that juicy card draw. So again, we can combo this with Dreaming Tree to be able to draw 2 cards back to back right there. So it's huge. Another trick that we have up our sleeve is Find Your Center. Normally this is a 3 cost, but if your opponent is close to victory, it is reduced to 1, so which is huge in a late game. But this card allows us to draw 1 card and allows us to channel 1 Rune exhaust, so we get to ramp up and draw those extra juicy cards. Another spell that we have up our sleeve is Wind Wall. Wind Wall is a little more expensive, but it is a crucial card, especially in that late game where bigger spells are coming onto the board. You want to be able to have this card in your hand to be able to protect your units, because there are some dangerous spells that your opponents can be able to play to be able to counteract your defensive battlefield or just remove any unit on the battlefield. So this Wind Wall is crucial. I am debating on adding 1 more, and I'll show you the card once we get to it that I'm thinking about removing. The next spell that is up our sleeve is one of our win conditions here. It is Time Warp. We got 2 copies of this card in our deck. We could run 1, but I just don't like the chances, because obviously 2 copies of this card is going to increase your chances of getting this card in your hand to be able to combo this with Ahri, or in some cases just to be able to win that game a little bit more easily in a late game. Moving on to our last spell here is Foxfire. Foxfire I've added because I've ran into a couple games where the battlefield is just surrounded by low cost units. So I thought this would be a great card, but I have not been using this card as much as I thought. So this is the card that I'm thinking about taking out and adding 1 more Wind Wall, because Wind Wall will be a little more beneficial for me. Now that we know all the tricks up our sleeves, let's move on to the battlefields. Battlefield number 1 is Aspirant's Climb. If anything, this is the battlefield I would probably substitute for another battlefield, but this is what we've been running in our last 3 games. This allows us to increase the points needed to win the game by 1. The 1 card that I've been using in our best of 1s is Grove of the God-Willow. When you hold here, draw 1 extra juicy card. So this is the battlefield that we're always going for and trying to defend, to just always have cards coming into our hand. Battlefield number 3 is the Dreaming Tree. if I'm playing best of 3, this is another battlefield that I love because the Dreamy Tree allows the first time you choose a friendly unit with a spell here each turn, draw 1 card. And you can combo this on your turn and your opponent's turn. So you'll be able to just keep cards coming into your hand during your turn or your opponent's turn, which is huge. And there is our Ahri deck that we've been using in the last 3 games on TCG Arena. Let me know in the comments below what you guys thought about this deck list. Are you running a similar deck? Is there some cards that you would take out or add into this deck? And talking about adding or taking out cards, I'll kind of leave a little picture here showing the cards that I would add to the deck depending on the matchups that you might see on TCG Arena. So with that said, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Let's go.